Today's show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. They're the fastest VPN we've ever used. Try them out at expressvpn.com/funhaus. Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Filmhaus. Today we are talking about the Venom trailer, the new one for Venom Let There Be Carnage. And we're also talking about the Green Knight. I'm Elyse.
Elyse.
Oh my God, I can't talk today. I am also joined by Charlotte.
Hello. Charlos.
Charlos. And Patrick.
Patrick, we should have waited until Christmas to talk about this movie. It is an instant Christmas classic.
It really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Venom?
Sorry, wait,
Or-
no.
Yes.
Not,
No,
well, Venom.
is a
Yeah, no,
Christmas
why not?
movie.
Yeah.
And Jacobs.
Last but not at least, me.
Oh.
Nice.
I asked for you to be snuck into a Photoshop for a video, Elyse, and I did say in the Slack, it would be fun to have a little Easter egg.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
Not bad.
Much like the Easter eggs in Venom, which I'm sure there will be
Wow.
many. I need
Can't
to
wait.
ask, what were all of your thoughts on the first Venom film?
The accent is confounding.
One of the dumbest
Yeah.
movies I've ever seen.
And it's like
It's bad. It's bad.
I love Tom Hardy, and I do like him in that movie, but he talks like an adult baby.
It is Eddie
Yeah.
Brock. It's so crazy.
Mr. Chen.
Yeah. I don't think I
I'm
like
Eddie Brock. I used to be a reporter.
I'm a journalist. I'm Eddie Brock.
Oh, I'm so hot right now. I need a lobster.
The lobster
People
scene
loved
is
it.
one of the best things I've ever
it's
seen.
great.
I stand by that.
Yeah,
That was truly
sure,
an amazing.
yeah.
Because in the moment I'm like,
That's
this
fine.
is awful strange. And then I realized afterwards, I'm like, no, that was the good part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all in the minority because people seem to love that movie.
Yeah,
Mm.
what's up with that?
What?
Like
People really like
There's
that
like-
movie.
People
I
love
like
everything. People love Zack Snyder movies.
I had that realization when like the first trailer for this movie came out, because I like the funny parts in the first one where it's like Venom and Tom Hardy like arguing and stuff.
Mhm.
And
A lot more of that.
They had that part in the trailer for the second one where they're just goofing like, they're just having some goofs, and people are like, this sucks. I hate this part. And I was like, what? That was my favorite part of this whole thing.
It's
I guess. Yeah.
like 30 years too late, also. Because Venom was hot shit in the 90s. I guess maybe it's 20 years. I don't know. But like Venom was hot in the 90s. I cannot explain how hot Venom
Do you
was.
think,
Because Todd McFarlane.
Tarzan?
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
Todd McFarlane. I cannot talk today.
That sounded on purpose.
No, I just cannot talk today. But
it's just a movie for people who watch like 90s cartoons and read 90s comics.
Yeah.
I'm all post nasal drip, and I just cannot move my mouth into shapes.
no.
Todd McFarlane was like, I'm the Venom guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think then Sam Raimi tried to be the Venom guy, and then it all came crashing
Oh.
down.
That
Well,
may have also been
partially
a
tried to
casting
become-
decision.
Yeah.
But a casting fumble there.
But
No, I think that was a
Gee.
great turn for Topher.
yeah.
Okay.
To your question, it's Tardfer.
Yeah,
Tard for Gorse.
God.
But to your question, Elyse, what was I thinking about this trailer? Like, I hate to sound like a negative Nancy, which is, I know, out of character, but I don't even remember the name of Riz Ahmed's character from the first one. What was that character?
I think his name was
Rogue
Riz
One.
Ahmed.
Rogue One. Yeah.
Iron
But,
Man.
like, Iron Man. Whatever.
It's probably Iron Man.
Gray Venom
Mhm.
was in that one.
Yeah.
Like-
I forgot he even did that.
There's like
Yeah, he
6
did.
Venoms in that movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my first thought was in this one when I saw Carnage was like, I really hope there's not too much of just like red Venom in this, and we get to watch Woody
Mhm.
Harrelson just being a crazy person, because
Oh, no.
that's the thing I cared about the least in the first one, was watching two blobs smash into each other.
Yeah,
Right,
the
yeah.
VFX is like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
you can watch
Carnage
the
does
trailer.
look cool.
What I'm dreading most is like James Willems. One of the things that he detests in
Who?
the superhero genre is when
Funhaus.
James Funhaus
from
is
Inside
when
Man.
when a hero fights just the bizarro version of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not a
And-
Hulk fan? Or
And it's
Abominable?
impossible to
or a
tell
Black
what's
Panther
happening.
fan, or an Iron Man fan, or a
Oh.
Woody.
But we see in the trailer for Venom Let There Be Carnage that Woody Harrelson, he's in prison, and then Tom Hardy comes to interview him,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the story of a century.
and then he bites him.
Is that
Yeah.
really the origin?
He dangles his fingers. in the
No,
cage, like
I
Woody
think
Harrelson.
so. From what I remember from reading comics in the 90s, is basically Venom was cool, but he wasn't edgy enough. They needed a Joker. So
Oh.
Carnage, I think he does visit him in prison, but I could be wrong about that.
Carnage was once a serial killer known as Cletus Cassidy.
Correct. Yes. And he gets like a cut on his arm or something. There's
During
like
a prison
cut,
breakout.
a wound. Yeah. Okay. There you go. And like a piece of the Venom symbiote goes into his bloodstream. So whereas Venom, Eddie Brock wears the symbiote with Cletus, the symbiote is in his blood. So he's more
So-
powerful.
But it also seems okay. Venom also seems to be inside Eddie Brock, though. So
Eddie Brock.
Yeah, it's pretty like arbitrary. It also seems like if he wanted that, he could also then just give himself a little nick and let the symbiote go in his blood. But
Yeah. I buy it. I buy it. The
Sure.
symbiote's in Eddie Brock, and then because Woody Harrelson is a crazy serial killer, he's gonna be extra scary.
right.
sure.
Do any of you buy Woody Harrelson in a wig?
No, no one does.
Only when they
it-
put him in a receding hairline wig.
Yeah, the hair's goofy. I don't mind like the goofy red hair.
Well,
Because his character looks like it's gonna be pretty wacky.
oh, is the
Yeah.
red is the red supposed to be symbolic of the red coloring
God.
of Carnage?
It's symbiotic.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool how they did that?
That
Makes you
subtle.
think.
I wouldn't have
It
noticed
makes you think.
that.
The
I wouldn't
thing
have
is,
noticed that
like,
because the movie's so dark.
the problem is if Woody Harrelson were to have hair, it would be a salt and pepper at best, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
so when men hit a certain age and then they start wearing toupees that are solid color,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't
yeah.
work.
Well, Cletus,
It looks
I didn't know that was
dyed,
his name
for
until now, but Cletus Cassidy, I've seen pictures of him. He has red hair, doesn't he?
Oh, he's like a full ginger. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, like, in this trailer, like, his hair in this movie looks so much better than it did at the
At
end,
the end of the
Venom,
movie.
when he was
Oh,
wearing, like,
I
a
didn't remember.
red clown wig.
Oh, yeah.
It's, like, super curly. It looks like they went to the
It's
Halloween store.
Bizarre.
And
It
bought
looks
it.
absolutely insane. It looks like Carrot Top.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in this
Which
movie, it
Would have been
it
very
looks
funny
okay.
casting.
It looks okay in this one. Just, like, it's red and it doesn't look horribly fake.
They had him. They had him for more than 30 minutes this time
Yeah.
around. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
Um,
like Woody Harrelson a lot. So
Yeah,
I like
me
him too.
I like watching
Oh,
him
yeah.
even when it's not like good.
Yeah.
I
Like,
really
I
liked
get
him
what
in
you're
Three
saying,
Billboards.
In what? Three? Oh, I
Three
never saw that.
Billboards.
I meant to.
Mm.
I love
he's
him
great
for
in it.
So I meant to watch that. Did not like 7 Seconds.
Good and true detective.
Nah, same.
I rewatched No Country recently. He's great in that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was in that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get Solo. Don't forget everybody's favorite Woody movie, Solo.
He's good in
I
Solo. He's fine.
He
completely
is good at
forgot
Solo.
he was in that.
I know.
Never
We're
saw
gonna
it.
get you,
Clark,
Patrick.
Chewbacca.
Holy shit!
But yeah, that's what I was kind of saying, is that I hope there's a lot of crazy Woody Harrelson and not like, I don't need too much like big red blob scenes. I know it's necessary because
Yeah.
it's a
That'll be the
superhero movie.
whole third act. We know that, but I
Yeah.
hope there's some
Yeah.
slapstick because the breakfast scene from the first Carnage trailer is, I think, sincerely so
I loved
funny
it.
when Venom just goes "Gets up" and squats it, squishes it all in his face, and he's got this insane breakfast that he's
Yeah.
cooked up for Eddie. It's
That was the thing that I was so surprised there was a negative reaction to, because I thought that was great.
So my problem is that like the movie to me feels like it presents itself as a dark, gritty film. So
Mhm.
the humor was not what I was expecting.
hmm
Right.
I guess it feels like, you know, when you're David Ayer and you're like, I'm making my drama Suicide Squad, and then they say no, you got to make it more like Deadpool. That's the
His
Well, you have to make it
statement
more like the trailer for your
for
movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
So
Yeah.
we're
Right.
then going to give
the trailer house.
studio that edited the trailer your movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're also,
His
you can't make it
statement-
R. You can't make it an R movie. So
Charlotte, what
don't
were you
get too edgy.
Right.
David Ayer's statement where he was like, "I was on the streets. I almost died.
That was
I mean,
weird.
I put my heart into this film." And like, I do, feel bad the way, I know this is a tangent, but the way the studio bungled that whole
Oh yeah.
thing.
Oh, for sure. That
It
sucks.
It was a
It's
bungalow.
awful.
It was a bungle. It was a real bungle. It was a real Barry Manilow. But like the statement is so wild and could have started 4 pages in. It's like, yeah, I hustled on the streets. I did crack every day.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
this is a comic book
the
movie.
fuck does this have to do with Suicide Squad?
Yeah. It's about the rejects, the downtrodden. I'm like,
It's
all right.
I don't know.
Okay, it's about a clown's girlfriend.
Yeah, I feel like you're really pushing that.
Yeah.
That a clown's
About
girlfriend.
a clown's girlfriend. That is the best description I've ever heard of that movie. It's a movie about a clown's girlfriend.
That's a good summary. Put that on the box.
Not to belittle
Uh,
Harley Quinn and her contributions to villainy.
Yeah.
Sure.
If I was Sony, I would have released Venom on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Because it's a rom-com.
Mhm.
It is a
It's a romance.
They make
And the
that joke
man's
in
in
this
it from Heat.
trailer.
Do they?
talk about like, oh, they need couples counseling.
Oh,
Yeah, I love that
Remember
guy.
he punched the guy? Yeah. He's very tolerant of this whole situation.
Yeah.
No sign of Michelle Williams.
Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle Williams.
The last we saw of her, she was sitting on the steps next to him at the end of Venom 1, and she said, "Sorry about Venom."
And that
What did she
movie.
at the end of this trailer?
I don't
Sorry
remember
about
that.
Venom.
Sorry
Even
about
I don't
Venom.
remember that even a little bit.
Oh, it's great. It's great. She's just sitting next to him, and then she just goes, "Sorry about Venom."
Oh, that
like-
actually happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought, yeah, again, I thought like maybe they were sitting on the steps, but that wasn't. I thought surely that's not the line.
It's the line, and it's,
But you're
it's
telling me that is.
fantastic. It's
Okay.
fantastic. Just
All
right.
the
Venom?
sorry about Venom. Like the nonchalance. It's like he's possessed by a foreign creature, and you go,
Yeah.
"Sorry about Venom."
It's breakup.
It's
But, yeah,
amazing
she
how
was in
much
the-
you can forget about a movie.
She was in the end of
Wait.
this trailer, wasn't she?
Was she?
Yeah, she's in the
remember?
car
Oh, I
with
don't
the guy.
remember.
She has the this is the part where she has the ring. She has like an
Oh
engagement
yeah,
ring.
she's flaunting
And-
that
Oh,
rock
okay, okay.
in front
That
of
was
the
supposed to be
Brock
you.
man.
Yeah.
Eddie
And then
Brock.
then Venom punches the guy.
yeah, he shakes his
little
hand
bit
and he
of
says, "I'm
Michelle
happy for you," and then he slaps him.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think
I
my
like that
brain even
stuff.
thought that was her.
She's
Oh,
wait,
Venom.
Michelle Williams.
Yeah. I guess
is-
like I feel
oh,
like I'm at
that's
the
her.
point where I want Tom Hardy and his goofy Venom interactions in his head and Woody Harrelson to just like I want them to carry the movie because I feel like I don't get excited by two big
CGI
blobs
blobs. Yeah,
attacking each other.
Yeah.
So
Like
you
Charlotte
want,
said,
like-
it is every superhero movie. The third act is CGI
Yeah.
characters
Jacob
just
lose all the charm.
knocking into each other.
Well, not
and-
every.
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
It sounds like your ideal story,
one.
Jacob, would be like Venom and Eddie Brock get into like a fight that's almost relationship ending,
Mhm.
and then they reconcile, and that's the movie.
Yeah.
And they
But they're
kiss.
stuck together, so that's why it's fun.
Well, the first trailer when they were like, use the Three Dog Night song, the one is the loneliest number, and the dark trailer version of it, I was like, all right, I guess it's tonally fitting. And then when they just
Yeah.
trotted out again for the trailer, I'm like, okay, so you've just got the asset. You're just gonna just lean into. Is this gonna be in every trailer now? Because it was kind
Yeah.
of cheeky and fun for the first one, and this one I was
Yeah.
like, okay, remember this
Yeah, this
song
has
that's
come out.
actually kind of like, sorrowful but a little fun. No,
Mhm.
it's serious. Okay,
Oh my god,
It's-
this comes
it's-
out in September.
Yeah, next
it's
month.
like 3 weeks from now.
Oh my
I'm
God.
out.
Okay, are
it's
you
like-
guys gonna go see it?
I'll
Not in
watch
theaters.
it.
Andy Serkis
like-
directed it.
What?
Hmm?
After his
Andy
weird Jungle
Serkis. Andy Serkis
Wow.
directed Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
Book? How did nobody? I feel like nobody's mentioned
somebody
this
should
ever.
have had eyes on that. Well, who let this happen?
Like
What?
I feel like usually with these big superhero movies, I'm conscious of who's directing it. But
Yeah.
I've heard nothing of Andy Serkis directing this movie.
Wait,
No,
that-
neither of us.
is this fake news?
No, it's on. It's not.
Yeah.
You pulling my
Mowgli?
toes, Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick.
I swear to God.
toes are not to be pulled.
I swear
I'm
to
not even
God.
gonna check. I'm gonna believe you
What?
until I watch this movie and I see Andy Serkis'
Wikipedia.
name.
Yeah,
he's Squadron
directed by Andy
42.
Serkis.
He's in that Star Citizen game as Thule O'Clare.
Everybody's
so-
in the Star Citizen.
Yeah, so's everyone else too.
It says story by Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel. Tom Hardy weighed in on the story.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
I'm sure that wasn't at all just a way to that wasn't at all just a way to get him another credit that
Oh no, it's Carnage. I need to eat more lobster.
also gets residuals.
They should put Bronson in the movie from the other movie he did.
Oh,
and show his
interesting.
dick, and then he just bare knuckle boxes Carnage into submission.
I'd see
They should
that.
they should put his old MySpace photos in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick,
I have not
you've
seen
read,
these.
You've read comics and stuff. So like what like is Carnage more than just like a scarier Venom that shoots spikes?
Well, that's okay. So the whole thing is because it's in his bloodstream, he's way more he's like more powerful than Venom because he has a more direct link to the symbiote. But then Venom can like his hands or whatever, like he can make an axe out of his hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all that shit. Carnage can actually like shoot projectiles.
Okay, we saw
which the others can't, and they all have like healing and shit. They basically can't die because the symbiote just brings them back to life or whatever.
Does like Carnage ever think? Does he like talk to the symbiote like Venom? And
I don't really remember that. I mean, they probably will in the movie. I also don't remember that as much in the comics, but I could be totally wrong. It's been so long since I read like a Venom comic.
I'm okay with that not happening because like then there'd be like a lot of that going on in this movie.
Yes, but, I think again because it's in his bloodstream, maybe Carnage and Cletus are more like one and the same.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
if this does end up being very similar to like Riz Ahmed's character and whatever that symbiote's name was in the last one, I feel like at least Woody Harrelson would be more interesting as a bad guy because he's like an evil, crazy serial killer, and like Riz Ahmed, what was he, like a tech CEO?
Yeah, and I like Riz Ahmed a lot, but it was a
awesome.
little. Yeah.
He did what he could with that part.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, Venom, it's coming like a steam train, whether we're ready for it or not.
Mm-hmm. The one that bursts out of that black and white theater, and everybody was gonna freak out. Is that it was gonna be real?
So we're gonna maybe come back to Venom at another time. I'm sure we will, because I know James will have a lot to say about it.
Sure.
And I'm sure Patrick will egg him on at that time when that time comes. Because that's generally what their pairing seems to be.
Uh-huh.
And I know we enjoy it, but it doesn't pay well for your pal Wheezy when James is like, "Yeah, Patrick, he was agreeing with me," and I'm like, "Oh, anyway.
That dang egg boy."
You just gotta build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just you kind of get him, and then they just keep going and going and going.
But we're
I'm
gonna
in the
move on.
background like this.
Not the finger tent.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a movie that is out now and we have all seen, which is The Green Knight. But first, before we get to that, I wanted to shout out a podcast that's also done by some of our friends at Rooster Teeth, because I think it's a podcast that our audience would like a lot. It's called OT3, which is short for Observers of Tales, Truth, and Trivia. And it explores the ins and outs of fandom from the fans who are into it. So like they talk about obscure fan fiction, shipping in the MCU, something called Clamp, that I don't know what that is. Do any of you know what Clamp is?
I don't know, but I'm going to look it up and it's going to ruin my day later.
I know.
Something you should ask permission for, I think.
They talk about fairy porn. Like, I don't know. These women are getting some weird shit. And it's fascinating. I want to be on the show. That's why I brought it up. But it features 3 people at Achievement Hunter that we really love, Sarah, Ashley, and Steffi. And you can watch it on Rooster Teeth or listen on Apple Podcasts or the podcast platform of your choice. But yeah, I wanted to tell the Filmhaus crew because I think it's up the alley of a lot of people watching and listening to this.
I'm imagining.
And if you want to have me on, I will become angry. I will become argumentative.
Yeah, you're not really a fan fiction guy.
You mentioned the concept of shifting, which Patrick informed us about on Word of the Day.
Well, James told her about shifting. That came from James and only James.
Oh, that's right.
No. I told James about shifting. No one believed me. Everyone thought I was a fool for talking about that. Everyone was mad and upset because they thought that I was going to piss off Gen Z.
I mean, I heard it first from James, who said Gen Z is really into this thing called shifting.
I just look at this thing. I just invented.
He said I read it. He said I heard it on the news.
This is what you.
James needs to cite his sources.
But Jacob,
I've been saying this forever.
Patrick's been trying to shift himself into the most dangerous game.
I've been trying so
Patrick,
fucking hard.
Can you describe what shifting is?
Yeah, so you, I think, lay down and you count to 10 and you imagine Hogwarts, right?
Okay, it's not just Hogwarts, is it?
After the count of 10,
No, it's
you
actually
arrive.
really
Can I
limited
please
right now.
finish? Can I please finish? After a
please.
count of 10, you open your eyes and you arrive in Hogwarts. For real. It's real.
Okay, but is it only Hogwarts or is it like any?
Elyse, I have more to say.
Sorry.
When you awaken within Hogwarts, you are dating Malfoy.
You keep taking these pauses like you're done.
All right,
Yeah,
questions.
I know.
Now
Draco
I
or
will
Lucius?
take questions. Now I
Draco
will
or
take
Lucius?
questions. Elyse?
Is it just Hogwarts or could it be like any? Like, could Jacob? And maybe Jacob's done this. I don't know. Like Jacob lies back in bed and he pictures he's on the Death Star, closes his eyes.
Ooh,
So-
that does not
I
really
don't-
go well.
Yeah, first
I don't
of all, it would be the
understand.
second
I don't
Death
understand the question.
Can you
Could it
shift
is it
be
into
only
someone's
Harry
like could it
Potter?
be somewhere other than Hogwarts where you end up being
Yeah.
Malfoy's girlfriend?
No,
No,
but do
you're
you
not
have to be
I
Malfoy's
don't-
girlfriend?
I'm Grand Moff Tarkin's girlfriend.
Elyse,
I guess the
please.
question sounds like, is this the only scenario you could shift to?
I
Yes,
don't
thank you,
understand the
Jacob.
question. Of course it
Sounds
is.
Like a great
Of
question
course
for
it
the
is.
OT3 crew.
So,
Yeah,
my
help me
God.
on and
only goes to
Elyse and
Hogwarts.
explain this. I don't. Yeah, I think it's for. I think it works for all fandoms.
Okay,
but
good.
no matter what fandom you shift to, you are Malfoy's girlfriend.
Yeah, okay.
So
My question, I think I asked it at Word of the Day, but I don't think I got an answer. Are we talking Draco or Lucius? Luscious, I call him.
I
Uh,
believe it's Draco, but who's to say that you're over at
He's
Draco's house? Draco has to run an errand.
Yeah.
Lucius is downstairs in the study. Maybe you go down there. Maybe you fool
Okay.
around.
Here. Okay.
But Draco's an adult in this situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Draco
Oh,
is
yeah,
12
let's get
years
ahead
old.
of that. Draco is
He's age
37
appropriate.
years old. Yeah.
Tom-
Character
Tom
in
Felton.
shifting is an adult,
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yes,
You
yes,
shift
yes, of
into
course.
Tom Felton's penthouse. Naked.
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m.
He
looks
is
at you and says,
fast asleep.
Scared Potter.
All right.
He's
well,
rereading the script for Planet of the Apes.
I guess you can hear more about this when Patrick and I ultimately bully ourselves onto this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Green Knight. We all saw it, and just a little background on this movie. It's written and directed by David Lowery, who did A Ghost Story, Pete's Dragon, two just
I
crowd
did not know he did
pleasers.
Pete's Dragon.
The 2016 Pete's Dragon.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
It stars Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander, Sarita Chowdhury, Sean Harris, Katie Dickey, Ralph Ineson, and Joel Edgerton. And it's based on the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight text. It's a late 14th century Middle English chivalric romance. Cannot talk today. Sorry.
Well, those were
Uh,
the hard ones.
And the thanks, Charlotte. And the pronouncing my own name was clearly the hardest one.
Yeah.
It's an advanced.
You
for that
nailed
whole name.
chivalric, though.
Chivalric.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jacob.
Willems.
That sounds like a knight. Chivalric.
And the thing I had to study this in school, and the thing that I remember being so distinct about it was that it didn't have a known author. The author was lost to the sands of time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
basic plot is that King Arthur, in the movie, his headstrong nephew embarks on this daring quest to confront the Green Knight, this giant who had appeared at Camelot on Christmas, I believe.
Yeah.
And they get into this tete-a-tete, literally, where the Green Knight says, if you can wield one blow on me with the expectation that a year from now you will meet me at my green chapel and I can return this in favor. And so this starts this epic quest. And I think like for a little bit, we should maybe talk about this in like a spoiler-free aspect,
Yeah.
because I think there are
Mhm.
probably lots of people that haven't gotten to see this yet. But then after the ad break later, we can kind of get into the nuance and stuff.
Well,
Did y'all like the movie? Like, first of all,
I really liked it.
I did too.
Yeah. That was really cool.
it is cool. My main takeaway has been that it rocks and is cool, is what I've told everyone in my
Sure.
life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone called it
I
a fun
do-
little romp, a friend of mine, and I did
I saw that
disagree
on Roger
with
Ebert.
that.
He also said it rocks and is cool.
Yeah.
I think it's what I like about it is it reminds me of. Okay, so we talked about this during a record yesterday. I think
careful,
very
Patrick.
briefly.
At least had a finger tint going right now.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is ready to strike. Viper.
There is
poised.
like, and Elyse, it turns out we saw this at the same theater at the same time. By the way,
You were in my theater?
we were in the same theater.
Well,
yes.
Patrick was
Did you
shifting
see
into
me?
it.
I didn't. No. Of course not. I would have said hi. I'm not a maniac.
Okay.
I had no idea. But no,
Patrick
James
leaned
told me.
over
James,
to his wife
me and
and
James.
said, "That's James and Elyse from Funhaus."
Don't fucking say anything. Don't you dare.
Walk.
No, me and James like put 2 and 2 together yesterday. We were talking about the movie. Yeah. But so there's like this weird, like kind of a promo intro with the director beforehand. And he talks about like how Willow was a big inspiration. And me and James were laughing about it because there's really no Willow in this
Dark
movie.
Crystal
But
too.
Dark Crystal too. Also, yeah. Wait, what was that? What you said?
Doesn't he mention Willow and Dark Crystal as two of his
Yeah, that's what Payne
inspirations?
said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I understand like story wise, there's really not a lot of yeah, there it is.
Sorry.
It's not
Sorry.
like
Sorry to interrupt you, Patrick, but I'm sorry to our audio listeners, but I have to point out this picture that Cody shared, which is hilarious because the Green Knight's like 7 feet tall in the movie, but in this picture he's like 5'4". Sorry.
yeah, he's a short king in this.
Sorry,
He's a little
Patrick.
tree.
You were saying the story.
Yes. So the story and all that stuff, like I can see how you'd be like, there's nothing Willow or Dark Crystal about this movie, really. But I think what it is there was this like brief tradition of maybe 20 years of low to occasionally high budget fantasy movies, which were very like the stakes weren't the end of the world. It was, finding some relic or saving
across
somebody,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, walking for a long distance.
Yeah.
And that has pretty much gone away for the most part. Unless it's either really, really bad or it's so overblown like Lord of the Rings that you can't just do that often, right? Like it's a huge, enormous production. So I kind of miss like this type of movie where it is just like about it's about one character or a tiny group of characters and like a quest, very defined quest.
And who knows what'll happen.
I really like that. And
yeah. Where'd Charlotte go?
She looked like she was playing with a cat.
There was a fly in her camera. I think that's what.
Oh, okay. I think I
Jacob-
saw it zoom by.
You were pretty excited for this going into it, Jacob. Did it hit your expectations or what you thought it was going to be?
I mean, just from the trailer that came out ages ago, it just looked like weird. I was like, I want to see a weird movie.
Yeah.
And it was like strange sometimes, but it was like, I guess I didn't really have that many expectations other than just like that weird vibe, but the crazy like existential journey he ended up going on, I was really intrigued by. And it's like certain, I don't want to like, I'll bring it up again later to avoid spoilers, but just like certain things get said and they hit me, and I was like, oh, that's what this whole movie's about, and I feel it deep in my bones.
Yeah.
And it was very pretty. This is a very pretty movie.
Oh, it was so
God.
visually stunning. And I heard somebody try to say that the beginning and the end looked good, and at the middle they forgot to make it look good. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like the
whole
most
thing.
striking part.
I also remember thinking like, this is a movie that somebody's gonna go see, and like some people are gonna go like talk about how boring it was.
Yeah, it's like Drive all over again. Like people saw the trailer and they're like, this is gonna be a cool just action movie.
There were people in my theater that there's like a couple, I think they were bored and they were looking at TikToks and giggling to themselves in like the whole third act.
Yeah, well, it's like, guys, it's adapted from a like centuries old poem. Like, what do you think it was going to be?
I think they saw Green Knight. They're like, oh, green is my favorite color. Night, those are fun.
That trailer rips.
It
wasn't
David
exactly
Ayer
what I was
lived on the
expecting.
streets and then he found this poem.
He was smoking just receipt paper and sleeping in a cocoon under a bridge. He found the Green Knight. He found it in the library.
That's why it's
Also,
anonymous, because nobody knows where it came from.
Also, the movie being pretty, but like the score was really, really like, amazing.
Yeah, it was right.
And like
rad.
it was very pretty, and then there are times where it was like deeply unsettling. And like, I don't like the sound this music is making.
It was like,
Yeah.
But I loved it.
tonally, it hit so many of the right spots for me. It was long. It was a long movie, which I didn't realize going in. And at a certain point, I'm like, damn, okay.
2 hours.
I remember saying this
It could have been shorter. It could have been
It could have
shorter.
been
Really,
shorter.
my criticism of it was that it could have shaved at least 15 minutes off that runtime, because it did have a lot of the art house, like, we're going to hold on this shot for
It lingered.
2 minutes. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
it's very pretty. It's a very pretty shot, but I don't know if it serves as much for like holding on that and drawing out this moment as much as
Yeah.
maybe you
I was
might think it
saying-
does. But
Afterwards, after we saw it, I was saying that like it felt longer than it actually. It was a long movie, but I was saying it felt longer than that
Mm.
because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, definitely.
and like I do like it was long, but I think I do appreciate how much it took its time so deliberately, and like I think I'm glad I got those extra long moments with stuff, because I think it like punctuated a lot of those moments tonally and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey Dev, look
yeah.
good.
It's like visually and like story wise, it didn't match this at all. But like pacing wise, it felt like some westerns I've seen.
Mhm.
Maybe something about the journey, but like I felt some of that kind of like slowness. Like I mean, there's a sense of urgency to the movie, but it definitely moves at its own pace, and it doesn't feel like 6 days. I think is the perfect amount of time to need to ride north. One, personally, just for riding north
Yeah.
in my own life. But two, because there's other movies where like the MacGuffin or the task is so pressing that to see someone get sidetracked, in my head, sometimes in a movie, I'm like, no, we don't have time for this. We have to get to the
Mhm.
Green Chapel.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
getting like hooked up by that guy from Killing of a Sacred Deer, whose name I cannot remember, but who is an
Yeah.
incredible actor. But the
Nice.
like the scene where he dives into that little pond at night is one of the most like visually striking things. And I
Yeah,
was
where it's
so
just like that
in
that
for it when
super
it
wide
happened.
shot where the lights.
It was-
This happened a lot in the movie, where like the lights would change when
Mhm.
Yeah,
like, something
I
weird was
gasped.
happening.
I don't.
And,
It's
like-
not really happened before.
and it
but
was just
in
like
the
this-
theater. I went.
Because it's like this tiny pond he jumps into, but then
Yeah.
the camera pulls back and it's just this. It's like he's in an ocean and it's all just lit red, and he's just silhouetted against it, and it
Just
looks
gorgeous.
like amazing.
Just absolutely gorgeous.
Well, and that's cool, like what you're saying too, because like the destination is not urgent, because at the destination, I guess, spoilers, I guess, but he's gonna die.
The
is
idea is that he's going to
so
be
like
killed. Yeah, because
the destination's a bad thing. You don't
Yeah.
really want to get there. So I think if it were like we gotta get here, it'd be weird.
Yeah.
yeah,
There
I mean,
he
he's got to
is.
be there by Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Well, he
Well,
has to make his
he-
appointment. Yeah.
For honor,
Yeah.
though, not for because that's what it's about. Is him struggling with this, like, why am I going to get my
Yeah.
head cut
And-
off?
And one of the things I really, really loved, like, about this story initially, like reading it, was that it's a set, within the universe of King Arthur, but it's not a
Mhm.
King Arthur story,
Mhm.
which makes it feel like the MCU of like King Arthur, and you get like the secondary players. We'll talk about like some of the differences after the jump, but I really thought that it was cool that they went with the old Arthur.
Yeah.
We'll let's just get to spoilers, because I feel like we're getting there. But first, a word from our sponsor. Summer brings all kinds of awesome adventures, lots of slipping, lots of sliding, lots of slip and sliding. But you know what it takes to bring any adventure or slip and slide up a notch? A box of awesome from Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post partners with small businesses, and emerging brands every month to bring you the most unique goods. I myself, as you know, have an amazing, amazing kitchen knife that I love that is from Bespoke Post. They have all kinds of great items, decanter sets, bags for if you're doing any like local travel. And it's all really, really nice and well curated. This month, they've got a box for making your own cold brew that's perfect for the blazing heat, and another with a pocket knife and a scrimshaw kit where you can carve your own design. Scrimshaw. It's fun to say. Box of Awesome has all kinds of awesome stuff for all kinds of people. So there's something no matter what you're into. Get started with the quiz at boxofawesome.com, and your answers will help them pick out the right box for you. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. So get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code Filmhaus at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code Filmhaus, Filmhaus, for 20% off your first box. Thanks, Box of Awesome. Okay, yeah, so this is just spoiler discussion now. If you haven't seen the movie and you can, I think we all recommend it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I'd
Go
say
watch
so.
it.
But yeah, if you haven't, we're gonna just be talking about it in complete spoiler detail.
Semen!
Maybe that's your bag.
Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of overt.
Oh yeah, there's
isms.
cum.
Oh yeah,
Thankfully, the shortest shot in the whole movie.
yeah.
We can
God.
finally talk about the cum shot.
I was just like, we were watching it. And I was like, ah, gross.
I mean, in the moment, I was like, "What's happening here?" I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what's happening, but it's kind of Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's the
Like my mom made me
Is
that.
that sash too tight or something?
You are no knight.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. We'll get to more of the context of that. But I've been thinking about this movie a lot. I'm sure like we all have. So he goes on his journey and like there's just the different events that happen along the way. And I feel like I got a grasp of what most of them were trying to convey. Because like what was the first thing that happens to him? Was it the guy that robs him?
The guy on the battlefield, yeah.
Which is not in the original text. That's added in.
Okay.
The only thing that is, I think, is the castle at the end,
Yeah, it's
right?
the Lord and Lady.
Yeah, everything else
Yeah.
is made up for the movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
So, because I was gonna ask you all like what you thought was happening in those scenes. Because I think like that one I didn't entirely get what like was like if there was
Well-
like meaning behind it because they mentioned like the virtues of a knight and stuff, and I wasn't didn't really know what
So,
those
like,
were.
One of the things I liked that the movie did in contrast to the text was like I felt like it gave Gawain like more agency. It gave him more of like an actual character arc, and it gave him like kind of stakes, being that he's Arthur's nephew in this, which he isn't in the original text. And also like it made Morgan Le Fay, Arthur's sister, his mother, which like in the original text, it's basically it all amounts at the end to that like Morgan Le Fay wanted to do this kind of like prank, essentially, like to mess
It's just
with
to goof him
Arthur
up.
and scare Guinevere and like all this stuff. And the original text is supposed to be this just like story of chivalry in like a time where chivalry is everything and code of honor is everything.
Yeah.
And this made it more of a character arc in terms of his personal honor and like living with himself and you know.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, he's just drunk and he's hanging out at the brothel and stuff, and
he's
cool.
kind of
he's wilding out.
That rocks.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, totally,
for sure.
Yeah. Alicia
He's Van Wilder.
Yeah,
Van Wilder, yeah.
But the scene that like Jacob you're talking about, with the scavengers, I was like, okay, well, I guess they're trying to send them the message that a knight should be generous. But,
right, because he tells them directions off, like points them the way, even though it ends up being bad. But points the way, but then like he just is like, oh, thanks, but he doesn't like compensate this guy for his kindness, like he said, and even then he just tosses him a coin. So it wasn't in his head, I guess, to like offer more than just words to this person for helping him on his journey, or even like when he's first riding out from the castle, which take like I think it felt like 30-40 minutes before he even left.
Going, I have a sword, going.
Yeah, like he's just ignoring those kids.
I have a sword.
Chasing him. Yeah,
He looks back to make sure they're not following him anymore at the end of that shot, though.
And like I think they did such a good job of just like this guy he wants to be a knight so badly because like he's got nothing really going on, and like it's like Arthur clearly cares about him a lot and like have all these expectations for him and stuff. So he looks scared shitless when he's leaving.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think all of the like dressings and like gear that he has, which great little scene where they're putting together the belt and the chainmail and all that fucking shit. It rocks. But I think it's a lot about him losing that. He's realizing that he's not all he's cracked up to be, because the moment he's pressed on whether he's a knight, he's like, I'm not a knight. I'm
Yeah.
not a
Yeah,
knight.
yeah.
I'm not a knight. And so it's all like dressings and stuff. And then I think since it's so much about honor and why he does the things he does and why anyone does the things they do, is that it's not about the things he has. It's so much more about, although I guess more emotional and not quite as more abstract baggage. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I saw that.
And you get the feeling of like he's the grown-up kid who's still at home, that his mom's like, you gotta move out, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like Morgan Le Fay's like, I'm gonna conjure up this Green Knight.
Yeah.
And
And he's like,
you
right,
gotta,
but it's Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah. That's one way to get somebody out of the house.
Yeah. I loved the Green Knight design.
Oh,
That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
We've
cool.
talked about it like just in the office at length of just like how awesome it is when he's riding out of Camelot, holding his head and laughing. Ah,
I was
He
reading
looks
about...
like if an Ent had sex with a guy.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
And not as tall as he appears in the movie, obviously, a little bit of magic.
That's why he's on the horse.
Yeah.
But I was reading about the prosthetics that Ralph Innocent?
Innocent.
Yeah.
Innocent that
Was
Ralph
he actually
Innocent
in the
wore?
mask?
He was
Or
in the mask. That was
makeup?
actually
Oh.
him. Because David Lowery said he wanted the character to be, embodied by the actor playing him. And so, like, he's talking about how, like, he couldn't open his mouth all the way, so he had to drink and eat through a straw, and that he had these full eye contacts in that were so painful and scratchy. And then because of, like, the knob, he said that the head was weighed more heavily to one side, and he was in the shit
Oh.
for hours. So they got like a dentist chair type thing for him to lay in between sets. So
That's
imagine
horrible.
him reclining on a dentist chair with a smoothie.
Yeah. I guess it was handy
That
that he didn't have
sucks.
to move his mouth during that whole scene with
Yeah.
the letters getting read.
Looks so
he's pretty
badass.
chipper about it now. He's like, that was 2019, so I don't even remember that. I'm just enjoying the good reviews. But he was basically the amount as being like, it sucked. That was
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean,
Do-
the Green
do you
Knight
think-
himself isn't in the movie that much, so that's good for him. It's
Yeah,
the
it's really
beginning of
just
the
like
very, very
Two
end.
scenes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think what's his face, Peter Serafinkowicz,
Taranafowicz?
the
Inuits?
the
tit?
other deep voice British guy? Do you think they get pissed when they see each other in movies?
I bet
I
their
thought it
arguments
was him
sound
at first.
amazing.
Well, he's
Huh?
Neither
I
can
don't know.
live while the other survives.
God.
Oh, maybe.
Hancock.
The original Green Knight is described. I liked what they did where they made him this kind of like nature motif of
I know
like,
what you're gonna say.
well, because the original Green Knight is just like he's just a big green guy.
Yeah, it's just a guy
He's
who's
just a big
green.
green guy. He's all green. And I like that
they
they were
spend
like,
a lot of time on his hair and how beautiful his flowing green hair
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
and I did like that this movie. It did also seem like it was trying to push a little bit of a nature came here first and nature will be here last environmentalist.
I mean, it's the color of rot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Essel gives that whole speech to him. And I don't know, whenever like Alicia Vikander does that great monologue,
Mhm.
but
The
whenever
second Alicia
there's this,
Vikander.
yeah,
I didn't even
whenever
realize
there's like
that.
a scene like that where someone's just talking really intensely at someone for that long,
Mhm.
I always imagine myself as the Kevin James audio guy sketch character that he does, where I'm just like, she's still going. Like, she's been talking about this for a long time. She's
She
really
nails it.
intense.
It's so good.
Where'd this come from? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So like he gets robbed, then you really get to see those true colors. He's just a coward, and he's scared to go on this journey and die. I was trying to think if there's like any kind of symbolism, because he has the shield that has like Mary and Jesus painted on it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fuck
and
it.
it gets like
out of here.
It's like snapped in
Gone.
half.
Yeah,
immediately.
stepped
Like,
on by a child.
It's snapped
Yeah.
in half, like it's like his virtue snapped in half or something.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Jake.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I've been thinking a lot. But
It's just
I saw Jacob go to this club in Hollywood called Virtue Snappers.
Mm.
I saw
that's my old
I
haunt.
saw the
What goes on in there?
paparazzi. I was like,
Oh,
well,
you don't
yeah, what
wanna know.
happened?
You don't want to know, Patrick.
he just
It's
sits
okay.
and thinks about the
It's-
Green Knight.
Yeah,
He tells
he
he's
sits in
like,
a
girls,
chair
get
and-
out of here.
yeah,
Like this.
yeah. And there's
Broods on the Green Knight.
There's a neon sign outside. So no knights allowed.
Yes.
The
'Cause-
sound design of the
shoot.
Green Knight was so fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Before I forget, just that gnarling and twisting of wood.
I love like when he
creepy.
gets
Ugh.
tied up and there's just like the camera just like turns. It kind of just shows the passage of time where he becomes a
Mhm.
skeleton and then goes all the way back. It takes like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he's
Yeah,
just
that
like,
one I was
"Oh,
like, surely
oh
they're not
God."
going to show us the whole. Nope. Okay, we're going all the way around. And then we're not going to go back around. Nope. We are going
Going
back
all the way
around.
This is like that's like one of the couple times this movie does that where it like kind of flashes forward in a way. And I guess we'll talk about
Yeah.
the big flash forward
That-
eventually, but
Rocked.
yeah, because
Mhm.
let's see, there was like the thing with the head. He had to get out of the lake, which felt like another test that he failed. Because she's like, "Oh, you got to get my head out of the lake." What was her name
Yeah.
again? Winifred.
The
I
redhead.
think
Yeah.
he passed that one, I thought.
Well, I think he eventually did, but at first he's like, "What do I get for getting your head?"
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
she's
just
like,
like,
why would you
alright.
ask me that?
Yeah,
Why would you
you're
ever
right.
ask me that?
Yeah, and I didn't know if that was supposed to be some kind of like Lady in the Lake nod,
Oh, because of the
Like,
sword and
the
stuff.
sword.
Yeah.
you know, and this was his sword trial, like Arthur's, but he kind of
Yeah.
beefed it.
Lady next to the
Mhm.
lake. It was all
He got it though. He recovered. He recovered.
The lady in the house by
he
the
got
lake.
it in the end.
Yeah, I thought like because she tells him like the Green Knight is someone you know or something. Is that what she
Yeah.
says? I was kind of freaked out in that moment because she was a severed head, so I don't
Well,
think I
in
got it
the-
correctly.
Yeah, in the source text, even in the source text, it's not someone he knows, but someone
No, it's
he knows set it
of.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Morgan Le Fay, but in like this one, because it's his mother, I think the implication is supposed to be like, it's someone you know.
Yeah,
It's her mother.
Yeah.
But
because like
The
talking-
like throughout the movie, her like
they say-
influence is kind of like sewn throughout every situation he's in. Because there's
If
like
you want-
yeah, go ahead.
Well, that because it's Saint Winifred or whatever, and there is a real Saint Winifred that involves like a head. I just looked it up just now. By the
Oh,
way, I don't know this
You
off
could
the
have
top of
played
my
that
head.
off.
Yeah, I would
yeah,
have.
Patrick,
Yeah, I
But
respected you.
she
you knew
did
about
have her head. She
you
got
knew about
decapitated.
shifting, so
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a thing.
Well, she did get decapitated, and there's like a similar. It looks like where like another saint came by and rejoined her body to head,
Mhm.
it's like
and
psych.
then yeah. So
It's so funny.
I mean,
thinking
it's pulling sources from other like old Arthurian because
Mhm.
this is like the King Arthur stories. There's no like canon.
Mhm.
There's no definitive like everything changes all the time. Like everyone like the sword and the stone is not Excalibur in a bunch of the stories. It's just a random ass sword with no meaning. There's other like all the people have different. They have different kids. They have like different knights are sired by different people in different stories. Like there's no actual definitive canon of this
What
shit.
about the big ladies?
It changed all the time. I don't know if big ladies might be a totally original
That part was awesome.
David Lowery.
Well, I
joint.
saw Jacob
It was.
in Van Nuys going into a club called Big Ladies.
Oh,
no.
wow.
No
oh my
nights
god.
allowed.
I have been to that one. I do know where that one is.
Yeah, right by the Nissan dealership.
Yep.
That part was really cool. Even
That was-
who knows?
that
Maybe
was
it was
awesome.
mushrooms because he eats those mushrooms. And things get
Oh
weird.
yeah.
Ah.
I
Gets
think
sick on
the
those
moment
mushrooms.
Yeah.
when he rejoins Winifred's head to her body, and because the movie had been fairly literal until that point.
Mhm.
No, obviously a lot of symbolism, but pretty straightforward. And then the axe is there, and I'm like, what,
Oh,
Yeah.
what did that guy come? Is he the one who killed her? And I'm like, but how did her body come? And then I was like, you know what, Charlotte? Let's just let go. Let's just let the movie happen now.
Yeah.
Like that was the
Yeah.
point where I was like, cool, okay, got it.
yeah. But that scene with the giants walking through the valley was so awesome.
So cool.
Oh my
Such a
God.
cool
Like,
visual. Yeah.
The rotating
fox.
from behind him,
Yeah.
like right after
Mhm.
that, is so sick. The cinematography
think-
was amazing.
Yeah.
I was a little
like
like when he
a-
just shouts out to them. It's kind of like,
Hey,
whoa,
give me a
whoa.
lift.
Do you
Yeah.
Are you familiar
Are you not
with-
entertained?
are you familiar with big enormous people?
There's
Like, do you
that.
know that they're not gonna just ice you?
Yeah.
Talking fox, not in the original story, sadly.
Barely
in
in
this
this
one.
story. Yeah, I saw it talk in the trailer. I've said this in a number of pieces of content already. Every time it came on screen, I thought to myself, "There's that motherfucker that talks." And I was so ready every time for him to be like, "Going," and every time it's just, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
I've-
What's-
Yeah.
And then it says the line from the trailer. I'm like, oh, Okay.
And that's all
I
you
guess I
get.
can't be disappointed, but I
Yeah.
really thought it was
I
going to be
mean,
more
yeah.
talking fox.
You know he
The
fucks.
giant thing. Oh, another thing that he screws up because he tries to take it the short way out. But the fox is like, no,
Yeah.
you don't get to ride on these
No
giant
shortcuts.
shoulders. Yeah.
They,
He's like-
Garwin, they are headed the wrong way. Oh.
Yeah.
Take us to the next challenge, Jacob.
Oh God. So after that, is that when he shows up? He takes those mushrooms to ride or tries to ride some giants. The fox says no. And then is that when he shows up at the manor after that?
I think the
think
Lord
so.
and Lady.
He
I
starts
think that's the
stumbling
next
around a
big
lot.
thing. Yeah, he's just kind of wandering in the dark.
Yeah.
Which dark section of the movie. So
Yeah.
good thing that I wasn't streaming this because it would have
I
been
was-
blank on my TV.
I wanted to ask you all, like, okay, so he shows up at that manor, and he's like, "Oh, who's that?" And it's a bear.
I thought it was a bear too. I thought it was a
And I was
talking
like,
bear.
What? It was such a short moment. I was like, did I just see a bear? Am I crazy? Standing at the top of the stairs with a torch? Just
You're not.
silhouetted?
You're not.
Oh, Joel Edgerton. Hey, Attack of the Clones
Yeah.
is Joel Edgerton is in this movie.
That's what we all know him from.
Yeah.
He was great in this.
Yeah, he was. It was kind of like jarring in a way that I liked because the whole movie was so quiet up until that moment. There was a lot going on
Yeah.
before this,
Yeah.
but barely anything. And then there's all this like music, and he's like, "Oh, welcome to my manor.
He's
Let's
so
get
boisterous.
You some food." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Where are we? What's
And
happening?"
he gets to the castle and he meets this Lord and Lady, and the Lord is played by Joel Edgerton, and the Lady is also played by Alicia Vikander. But the implication being that she's not Essel, who is the prostitute
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that she's a prostitute, right?
She's a virtue.
Yeah,
We're all
yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
But they're in love, so
Mhm.
you know,
She's a lady of the lake.
it's a freebie.
he's in love with her, or she's in love with him. He's kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, and in the original text, obviously, like Essel doesn't exist, but then there's kind of the trial of his virtue and his modesty in when he gets to the castle, where like I think he makes an arrangement with the Lord where he says, "You go out hunting every day," or the Lord says, "I'll go out hunting and I'll give you what I get, and then you give me what you got that day." And so, like the first day, the lady of the house tries to kiss him. And then
Tries to
he's
give
like,
him a
"I
hand
cannot.
job.
Like, I simply cannot." And so when the Lord returns, he gives him his hunt, and then Gawain just gives the Lord like a kiss. And the next day, he resists her to 2 kisses, and I think the third day he resists her to like 3 kisses, and then he just leaves on like cordial terms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there is definitely no, thing with the sash.
Yeah.
No. Well, the
Um,
hand job sash, but she does give him a sash in the text, I think.
Yes,
I don't
Yeah.
think
She
it's
does
from
get
the
given-
mom. I think it's from her. And
It's
there's no
only
like
from her.
weird anything
And she
else
says,
around
like,
it. Like,
yeah, or
it's
on
just a
it.
gift
I was wondering, like, with them both with like
soaked into it.
What's her name? Essel.
Essel, I think.
Essel, like with them both being played by Alicia Vikander. And like, like earlier in the movie, she talks to him like, "Oh, won't you make me your lady," or whatever. And he's like not committing to it. And
It's so cool. Fellas,
yeah.
Yeah.
if your lady be talking to you and all that stuff, just stare straight ahead and do not speak for 10 minutes.
She'll have the conversation
is-
for you.
this
She'll do
is-
both sides.
This is how it works. It's perfect. You just dead
God.
eyes, straight ahead, not a word.
I mean, r/Cringetopia, because I was just dying inside while that
Yeah.
exchange was happening. I'm like,
Am
just
I
tell
the
her,
asshole?
yeah. I know. Yeah. Am I the
The-
asshole? My prostitute girlfriend asks me if she'll be my lady.
My
And
night
I just
BF,
stare straight
28
ahead.
Yeah.
male.
Am I the Essel?
Am I the asshole?
Sorry.
Am I the asshole?
But, like, I
AITE.
figured like maybe with her being playing these 2 characters, but like seeing it, like they look exactly the same, but he like because she's this like lady, he treats her with this entirely different attitude. He's very like he
Right.
does try to be modest and stuff. So it's like she was saying to him earlier in the movie, like, "Oh, it's just I guess another strike against Gawain that these women are so similar, but just because of their different social standings, he's like pushing one away that clearly has a lot of affection for him, and then being all proper with this like lady."
And the
Yeah.
other one he's trying to drag back to bed when she's trying to go to church in the morning.
Yeah. I know.
She's trying to go to Christmas mass.
God.
He's
Yeah.
just like, no, wait, where's my shoes?
I definitely felt like the magic was supposed to be, to disarm him, to catch him off guard and make
Yeah.
him try to make these slip ups and stuff.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot. I definitely, again, I think it gives him so much more like agency and interest, because in the original thing, he's just kind of this like dopey guy
Yeah.
that he's like, yeah, I'll go. I'll do it. Like, he's not, there's no real purpose beyond just being like, this is a story of chivalry in a
Yeah.
time of chivalry.
It was like that
And,
talk when oh, sorry.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Like when Joel Edgerton's talking to him by the fire. He's great in this. He's so
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's saying that, like, asking him about his journey, like, oh, he has to go to the Green Chapel and do his thing with the Green Knight, and then he'll be great and be a knight. And Joel Edgerton's like, oh, that's all it takes? You do that?
You
and
just leave a
you're
different
good?
guy. Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll miss
Yeah.
you. We'll miss our
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
And,
So he gets to the Green Chapel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just
we're
what
out
a
of time,
day's
aren't we?
ride.
I know. I have
Oh,
so much to talk about still. We
Go a
got to
little
talk
bit.
about
We have to talk about like the flash forward,
Yeah,
Oh, of
yes,
course.
please. Let's do that. Let's do
This
the montage.
Yeah. This movie
gets
has
there.
the same climactic moment that Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 had.
that. Well, the climactic moment was all over the sash.
Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2's influence can be felt across all cinema
that and
at this
also
point,
Nick
so.
Cage's Next with Julianne Moore.
A lot
Yeah.
of movies have this ending.
When
Yeah,
the Green Knight
Mostly those
eventually
two.
when the Green Knight eventually awakens, Green Knight gets his axe and he's like, okay, so yeah, I'm gonna give you a blowback like you gave me. And Dev Patel cowering, Gowan gets down and he's like, he's gonna poop himself.
Yeah, like
And
twice, I think. He's like, okay, hold
Yeah.
on a minute. Let's give me 1
He
second.
keeps flinching.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like,
But then there's just this
Green
badass.
Knight's like, what are you doing? Why
Oh,
are you
yeah.
afraid?
did I flinch? One.
What is he?
Yeah.
That's one of those things that like hit me when like Gawain's like, oh, is this all there is? And then the Green Knight's like what else ought there be? And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then the flash forward, he books it, or we see him book it. He's like, nope, I'm going
Yeah.
home.
Mhm.
Which, until it's later revealed that it's a flash forward, we can maybe first assume that this could be how the events go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's presented that way
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
But
it's
it's
just what's happening.
it's really like his Three Ghosts of Christmas Past being like, this is what your life would be like if you disengage and are dishonorable right now.
Yeah. You will
And make the
become
choices you
great,
make.
but you will not be good.
That's such a great way of
Yeah.
putting it.
Oh, thank you. I've been
Thank
thinking
you,
about, I was
Jacob.
thinking about
Thank
this
you,
at Big
Jacob.
Ladies.
Much appreciated.
It's
Jacob.
long. It's a long flash forward.
It is.
Yeah, it just goes
Like,
and like
Crazy
It's-
long.
it is rife with unfortunate
Oh God.
happenings in his life.
It's a
to come.
bummer.
Like Essel having like her child ripped away by Merlin. I was told is that
Yeah,
character
it's
was.
Merlin.
Yeah, it's
And like left some coin and like the son dying and his
Yeah, dying in the
King
shower.
Arthur. Yeah,
becoming
King
question.
Arthur. Grandpa Joe toe to toe in bed.
Yeah, I was
dying.
thinking the same
Yep.
thing.
very dark.
That's how I wanna
very
borrow my
dark
idea.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, he becomes king, and he looks awesome.
He
Regal.
looks
yeah.
so
Like,
sick with the like
Dev Patel
Yes.
looks
But he's
on.
miserable.
Regal AF.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
that
but he
outfit.
looks
But yeah,
so cool.
he's not having a good time.
Like,
And
and
then like
the people hate him though.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
the
they
last moment,
they're throwing
Yeah.
cabbage at him on the
yeah,
streets.
and poopies.
That's
Yeah.
good.
It's a
Cabbage.
classic medieval
Um,
tactic.
But
Well,
like,
and the castle's being
Never
sieged.
fails.
yeah,
Yep.
like the last moments of the flash forward is him just like sitting in the throne room as everybody leaves him alone, and then like he like that. It freaked me out at first because he finally pulls the sash off and like his
Right.
head like
Like,
gets
his
severed
head-
as he does it. Like,
and
why
there's
is
a
this making such a
sound.
weird sound? And then it was because his head was getting sliced off
Yeah.
when he did it, and damn, like that was nuts. And I thought maybe the movie was gonna end there, like after his head
I
rolled off.
thought so too.
But then like it just like hard cuts back to the present, and I was like,
It was a dream.
and then
Oh, thank God.
yeah, and with the Green Knight doing his little, he's like, ooh, okay,
Yeah,
You
he
learned your
teases him a
lesson?
little
yeah, you learned
Yeah.
your lesson.
Now off with your head.
Yeah,
because he takes off the
Yeah.
belt that's supposed to protect him,
yeah, he takes off,
and then
the
he
sash.
tells the Green Knight, "Okay, I'm ready now," because
Yeah.
he's discovered his honor. It's
Mhm.
greatness.
The
It's
sash
goodness.
was never gonna
Goosebumps.
like protect him. It was just like a one of those. It was. I interpret it as kind of like a just like a cop out. It's like, oh, I can't get hurt if I'm wearing this, so like, what's
Right.
Right.
I can do anything. So it's like I'm gonna take off this thing that I used to think would get me through this because it's like cheating, and I
Yeah.
came on it.
Yeah. We're
think
only
my
making it
biggest-
more powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It
stronger
absorbed the
now.
power.
It's stiffer.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
my
Can crack
takeaway
it in
with,
two. In twain.
Gross.
Oh, God. I think my biggest takeaway with like the line, like, it didn't matter if it were 1 or 100 years, I never could have prepared, and like the sash and just like the whole journey is like you can't live preoccupied with how it's going to end.
Mhm.
And like, because like so much of that year is clearly he's in denial, and then like the whole journey he's like, well, no, I'm gonna die. And so I don't know, it seemed like that was for me one of the messages was you can't be preoccupied with it, and only when you're ready can you be at peace with it.
Mhm.
I
It's a
don't
beautiful
know.
show.
I thought about it a lot. Like, not usually I get out of the theater and I'm like, well, that was a good time, and I just walked down to the car with my friend, mostly silent.
Yeah.
Nacho
And
fries. Nacho
you
fries.
wipe the slate clean in your head.
Yeah.
You
I
forget
walked
everything.
Out of the theater, straight into, I don't know what else is playing right now.
wall.
It sucks.
This is yeah.
Into a clothesline.
Yeah, it's why it
Into
worked.
a
It's why hey, this is why it worked better than Breaking Dawn. Because like
okay,
just
easy there.
that okay, I know. It's just a little bit, just by a smidge. Just the way like the flash forward ends, we see that he learned his lesson. The Green Knight just like it's like, okay, you figured it out. And then it just fucking ends right there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Which is great. And it's so much better than being like, pranked ya.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Tee-hee. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And I
idiot.
think
There's
that moment hit
Fucking
so
word.
hard because that flash forward was so long. We just saw
Those
it all.
endings-
Oh my god!
I really like those endings, and there's two movies that I'm thinking of. I won't say because I don't want to spoil those endings if people see those movies. But there's two movies I can think of, and neither of them are Breaking Dawn Part 2, where they go off in this very happy, like fun. It's like the opposite of it. It goes off in this really happy, fun, like lighthearted direction, and then it just hard cuts back to something very bleak and depressing, and then the movie ends.
Oh, I
It's
have a
very
hard time with
effective. It's an
those.
effective way to end a movie.
Yeah,
That's how
Well, that's the
Venom
problem
2
with
ends.
Breaking Dawn. I know this is turning into Breaking Dawn Filmhouse, but like they flash the fake out was something cool, and then they fake you out, and it's really something boring.
It's actually way lamer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Fucking holding up Carlisle's head. Is this your
Yeah.
god? Is this your king?
Yeah, the moral of the story: throw away your cover kids.
One.
Yeah,
Well,
year.
that's
or
the
just
show.
watch them.
What was that, Elyse?
I guess that's the final review.
Throw away your
That's
damn
what
cum rags.
David Lowery wanted to tell us all, but that's what
Yeah.
that's what the unknown author of the Green Knight wanted to tell us for hundreds of
Yeah,
years.
but couldn't find the words.
He had that written in the first draft. And someone's like, you got to make this like 2, maybe 3 kisses. I think
Yeah.
this is like a little bit much.
One
Me does think.
one smooch for Joel Edgerton, and that will do.
2
Yeah.
smooches for the lady and a hand
Come on.
job for
Oh,
the
yeah.
night.
How many Joel Edgerton smooches out of 10 would you all give this, and then we'll say
Yeah.
goodbye.
He will take one from me, which amounts to
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
giving
one
you
Joel
a wolf.
Edgerton smooch. Yeah, and I got a fox and like what looked like a horned bear that he
Yeah.
slew. Anyways,
I'm gonna give it 8 Joel Edgerton kisses, but it's when I thought he was a bear.
okay.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a Joel Edgerton hand job because his wife jacked me off in the bedroom, and that is a gift. And I
Yeah.
did promise to return any gifts that I was given while in his house.
What
So,
a turd. What would it be?
Yeah. Yeah.
but I will not let him finish on my belt.
I will
So
abstain from the
honorable.
kisses and scrub the rot from the floorboards.
Okay. You heard it here.
Green.
Folks.
8, I
Go
guess.
watch-
Color
watch
of
this
bad
movie.
Smooches. Yeah,
8
see
or
this movie
9.
in the theater. This is
Yes.
like one that would, I
Yeah.
mean, 100% be better than at home. Like
hmm
the other stuff I've seen this year in theaters, I'm like, okay, could have watched it at home.
Yeah.
But this was really, really cool to see.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
Mwah.
thank you all for talking about this. And next week we're going to be talking about the Suicide Squad.
Ooh.
Tune in for that.
Ooh, I was on the streets every day smoking
Not
peacock
that one.
feathers.
The new one.
Jacking off Joel Edgerton's.
James Gunn will release a letter that's like, I was making jokes about pedophilia every day on these streets on Twitter. And
I was an edgelord 10 years before it was cool and then not cool.
And then,
And then
cool
maybe
again.
it's back
And then
again,
I smoked
guess.
crack.
You
Yeah.
can just fade to black, Cody.
Yeah.
Get
Please.
us out of here.
Cut it. Cut
Yeah.
it.
Big Green Knight title screen and credits.